Welcome to this week's Weekend Watch, kindly sponsored by SBK. So GG with myself, Andrew Mount and Daryl Carter. And I have to say the guys had a fabulous weekend last weekend. Daryl tipping up 2 out of 3 winners of his on Saturday. He also had a 4-1 winner on the Sunday. Andrew had a good time as well, 6-1 winner, 7-4 winner, and a forecast win as well. So that would have paid out well. And even with me jinxing it, my Nat managed to win as well. So we had a good time. So no pressure this week on you guys. And we start with some quality national hunt racing, don't we, at Sandown. The 155, and I've actually got a NAF and an Express this week, very unlike me. Really like the look of Gary Moore's horse in here, Royaume Uni, I'm going to go with, who I thought was quite useful on the flat and just limited starts. I thought ran well a few weeks ago and got absolutely smashed in the betting, so they obviously expected plenty. I think this horse will go off shorter than what he already is at the moment as well. And I think maybe chucked in off the mark, so that's going to be my selection in that 155. Andrew, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, sure thing. I'm pleased to say you've napped Royaume Uni. I think that's how we say it, because that's one of 3 on my shortlist here. I've done a pace map for this race, and it does look as though there's going to be a lot of front runners in it, or certainly a lot of horses who have made the running in at least one of their last couple of starts. And although we've only had 2 previous runnings of this race, it has gone to a hold-up horse on both occasions. And the Sandown's EBF final meeting, again, we saw front runners get swamped by closers in these big field handicap hurdles. So I was looking at opposing some of the likely pace angles in this race: Celestial Force, Gylo, Pazvolsky, Rockstar Ronnie, Lily Peddler, 2 minutes Turkish. So it should be run at a good clip. Onto Vic's going to like the way like the strong pace, but he's onto Victory, sorry, but he's probably going to be on ground quicker than ideal for him. So the 3 I came down on were Herbier, who's 2 from 2 over hurdles in big fields. Royaume Uni, who came from further back than ideal, went 4th in the Kempton qualifier. And then, of course, he went on and was narrowly beaten by Herbier at Ascot. And Get Back, who is a big price. He did best of the hold-up horses when 3rd at Southwell last time. The winner and second were pretty much 1-2 throughout. And I thought around about 25 to 1, he could go well. He might have needed that Southwell run after a break of 5 months as well. So Herbier, Royaume Uni, and Get Back. We talked last week about, if you're backing the same form line, 2 horses who've run fairly close together, like those ones in the county hurdle, Milkwood, and I can't remember the other one running at Ayr. Why not do the forecast Herbier, Royaume Uni here? Because at current prices, it's probably going to pay around about 80 to 1 or 100 to 1. And, if that Ascot form is as valuable as we think it is, who's to say they can't finish 1-2 again?
Yeah, I hope it's the right way round for me, though. Daryl?
Yeah, very similar to Andrew in this race. I spent quite a bit of time on this, and I came up with a short list of 4. I'm still undecided about where I'm going to go. I do like Sheldon, of course. I put him up for the EBF final at Sandown last time on soft ground, borderline heavy ground that day. Kevin Jones took him around the inside track and gave him no chance at all in that dire ground. But I thought he ran quite well, considering it was the same story the time before at Exeter. Now, I'm just worried I'm making too many excuses for Sheldon at the moment, but he's back down to 2 miles today on quicker ground, which I think is definitely going to suit him. He's effectively off a mark of 117 here. He's definitely better than that. On the time figures he's run, he's definitely better than a mark of 117. So that's why I'm struggling to let go of Sheldon. Isolate was the other horse I'm quite keen on. Far too keen at Stratford last time when attempting to give his £7 away to the potentially very smart Stepney Causeway of Dan Skelton's. Prior to that, Ascot on heavy ground, which is not what he wants. He wants fast ground. He was 10th in the Betfair Exchange hurdle behind Not So Sleepy. That form has worked out extremely well. Belfast Banter finished 5th in that race. He tanked through that race, pulled quite hard, got into the home straight, and just before the second last, he just dropped, emptied out, had absolutely nothing left. I thought it was a really eye-catching run. That was his 3rd run on a right-handed track. The other 2 have both been wins, impressively, including beating Glory and Honour, who's rated 129 at Taunton, and a good win at Leicester on unfavourable soft ground. This is definitely his ground. Quick ground. The quicker the ground, the better. The slight concern I've got with this one is that Tom Cannon's jumped off and gone on to Victory, which I was quite surprised at because I thought on to Victory's form was a little bit wayward. On his flat exploits of a mark of 105, he definitely looks well handicapped of a mark of 127. But I do think that the ground is going to be on the quicker side for him. He showed in the Betfair Hurdle at Newbury when he travelled through the race really nicely. He just didn't have that turn of foot on a quicker surface to go with his rivals in the latter stages. I'm a little bit struggling with this race, to be honest with you. And I don't know if it's because I like quite a few or if I'm being put off quite a few. I'm going to have two stabs here. I'm going to stick with Isolate and Sheldon, despite their negatives they have got with them. They're both around 16 on to 1. I think at those sort of prices you can have a couple of darts at. So I'm going to leave it there. Pavlovsky was the other one I was going to mention, but I'm going to leave it. Yeah, just those two for me, Isolate and Sheldon. Yeah, I'll be here all day.
Isolate is 16 to 1 and Sheldon is about 18 to 1. So yeah, good each way value for both of them. And Andrew, do you think you'll back both then? Kirby AM on Uni.
Yeah, and get back as well. I'll probably throw a few quid at all three, especially with sort of 4 or 5 places on offer.
Yeah, get back 25 to 1 at the moment, the outsider of the field I've got. So definite value for us all in that race. The 2:30, the next at Sandown is Grade 2, small field here, and of course we've got record breaker Paul Nicholls, who's got the current favourite at the moment, and this combination, of course, won this in 2019 with Black Corton. Do we think that they're going to win it again, Daryl?
Yeah, I think they've got a fantastic chance with Frodon. I think this race, I think Paul Nicholls has been absolutely excellent this season at placing his horses. He has found races that have cut up so much. He's got the front runners in the right races. Again, a little bit like this one. Frodon should really be able to dictate matters in this field under Bryony Frost. And Sandown's really a track that if you get into a nice jumping rhythm, it's very hard to make up ground on the leaders, especially down the back on those railway fences. I didn't want to spend too much time on this race, to be honest with you, because I thought Frodon was a good thing. And I thought Mr. Fisher was rather short in the betting, to be honest with you. So, yeah, Frodon for me. I will just give a quick mention to Andrew Martin's Militarian, who ran an absolute blinder at Aintree before pulling up 3 out. I really feel this horse should be running a handicap off a mark of 133. He's an 11-year-old. They're rolling the dice at these big races. Why not? He's a fantastic servant. Whether or not he'll be able to jump well enough around Sandown, it will just be a question. And I think Frodon should take all the beating.
Yeah, I suppose with Militarian, they put a pair of cheek pieces on. He's an old boy, see if they make a difference and pick up a bit of prize money, maybe.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, Andrew?
I like Militarian as well. I've bet him at 40 to 1 for this race. I mean, again, I bet him at Aintree like Daryl. I think it was something like 50 to 1 for 4 places. And 600 odd to 1 in the win market, and you could get quite excited about that 4th place at one stage, but then the effort of sort of being up there in that well contested Grade 1 contest took its toll. But yeah, Andrew Martin's runners, you can back them blind and make a profit. They go particularly well in the spring. He does well when using first-time headgear on his horses, and Militarian's better right-handed than left-handed. But like Daryl, I was hoping we were going to see him in a handicap next time. Not in another graded contest, but at the price in a small field, you got to throw a few quid at him or find it, play him to finish second to the others in forecast, that sort of thing. As for the rest of them, Frodon was beaten last time in the Gold Cup. Ran a good race in the circumstances. The last 6 times he's been beaten, he's bounced back to win on 5 occasions. So that's certainly a positive. But at the same time, he's had 3 runs in April previously. It's finished 5th at 9 to 2, 5th at 5 to 1, and 13th as a 7 to 1 shot. Is this just going to be one race too many after the end of a long, hard season? I know he won the King George, so to say he's best left-handed seems a bit odd, but he does jump out to his left, and he got away with it at Kempton. Will he get away with it on a stiffer track? He's had 4 goes here and at Ascot, no wins. So, I mean, as a former racecourse bookmaker, I would take on Frodon, given those sort of negatives about the time of the year and about the track. As for Mr. Fisher, we know he goes well in small fields. He's had 6 runs in fields of 8 or less, 5 wins and a second. He is coming here on the back of an unseat, though, at Aintree. And, will that have dented his confidence? Is he another one who's going to sort of just like make an early mistake and, end up disappointing? So you kind of got, reasons to, take on, tentative though they are, the front two in the betting. So your military and outrunning his odds could be the way to go here. And I'll make him the sporting selection at 40 to 1 or thereabouts.
Yeah, obviously we just got the 4 of them at the time of recording. So probably favourite for me and Daryl, and Andrew with the outsider. And we've got the Celebration Chase at 3:05, and we've got, again, Paul Nicholls has got a runner in here, as has Nicky Henderson. They're tied on 5 apiece, actually, as regards winning of this race. I like Sceau Royale for this, who was obviously really unlucky most of the Simon Mania horses were, to be fair, at Cheltenham. Nearly got brought down in that Champion Chase. I thought still ran well in the circumstances, and I'm hoping he can go one better than he did in this when we last saw him. We've seen him in the winner's enclosure as well before at Sandown, so I think loads of positives actually for Sceau Royale. And a mare has never won this before, Andrew.
Oh, good stat about the mare. I didn't know that. But yeah. I've had a bet here, and I've had a bet that Daryl's going to tip Sceau Royale. Is it? No, I've bet that Daryl's going to tip Sceau Royale as well because he loves the horse. So. But I'm against Sceau Royale here. I think he's best left-handed. He's won 5 of his 10 chase starts left-handed, only 1 from 6 right-handed. That was at Sandown, but it was some time ago and in much weaker company. And he has only won once from his last 10 starts. So backing the horse round about 3 to 1 or whatever he's going to be for this race, with a sort of strike rate like that, not for me in this, in a Grade 1 contest. Put the kettle on, loves Cheltenham, 4 from 4 there, as we all know. Interesting to see her come here. I'll have to do some digging into that mare stat and find out, how many have tried and how many had realistic chances. But that's something that needs more investigation. But again, I've thrown a few quid at an outsider here for the Nicholls yard, Dolos, 40 to 1 generally when I last looked. Now, this is a horse who's best when fresh. He's had 2 months off since his latest run. He's also best right-handed. When those two conditions have coincided, right-handed and a break of at least 6 weeks, 3 wins and 3 seconds from 6 starts. Now, it's a little bit of a shame we haven't got the dead 8 here for each way betting, but I thought he was a horse. He travels well. He could outrun his odds here and maybe finish 2nd or 3rd. So, I'll just throw in a few quid at Dolos, but for me, it was a race to watch and enjoy, and so look at those horses from the Champion Chase, see if they can battle it out again. But Dolos as a sporting selection at a big price.
Okay, Dolos for Andrew then, Sceau Royale for me. Daryl?
I was going to give actually a good mention to Dolos as well. I thought the form line through first flow when he won these handicap chase, albeit off a mark of 157 here back in February last year. I thought that was a nice little angle in at 40 to 1, so I don't blame him for having a couple of quid there. I did back Sceau Royale earlier in the week around 5 to 1 for this, just because the price discrepancy between the Put the Kettle On and Sceau Royale was just
Andrew knew.
was just far too big.
Yeah.
I think this could all be about one horse, though, and I do think it could be about Altior. And I know people are going to roll their eyes, but this could well.
Daryl, he's not running.
Well, we won't know until they've jumped off. But this could be Altior's last run. In all seriousness, it could well be his last run. 11-year-old now, coming to Sandown for his final run, cheek pieces on for the last time. I can't see them going out for another campaign next year with him. It'll be going on 12. I don't think it's the right thing to do either, to be honest with you. I hope he goes out, win or lose. I hope he goes out here at Sandown, 10-time Grade 1 winner, 4-time Cheltenham Festival winner, 19 races unbeaten, RPR of 183 or something. I think he's been a revelation, Altior, and I just wanted to take a moment to say I loved it. This is the reason I got into racing this horse. So I just wanted to take that moment. But if the 3 to 1 or abouts is still about on Altior on Saturday, I'll definitely be having it. It'll be heart over head, of course. But back to Sceau Royale earlier in the week. I do think they're the two to take on, Put the Kettle On, whose best forms come at Cheltenham. I thought she was flattered to win that Champion Chase. I'll be honest with you, she was game at the finish. But if Sceau Royale, like you say, would have stood up that day, I put him up that day. I was absolutely gutted because I thought he was a cracking bet on the ground, and it just didn't come off for him. this could be a bit of redemption for Sceau Royale. So I'm gonna play the pair. I know that's not good for a tipster to play two horses in a small field, but I'm gonna play the pair. One head over heart and one heart over head. So Altior and Sceau Royale.
Yeah, well, I don't disagree with you. As you say, perhaps they're trying to have one last hurrah for Altior, as you say. This is going on for the very first time at 11 years old. So Altior and Sceau Royale for Daryl and Andrew. Dolos will be an each way selection at 40s, yeah?
That's right.
Yeah, that's 305. We've got some other wide open races today in the 340. It looked impossible, I thought, to me. A fair few, it seems, have already been shortened in the betting since the prices first came out. I had a look earlier, and a fair few seem to have shortened at the time of recording already. Will the Irish continue their domination over us over here, do we think, Daryl?
I hope not. Fed up with it now. But plan of attack was going well when coming down at Cheltenham. So the fact that Rachel Blackmore comes over for the ride is almost a tip in itself, isn't it? So this is one of those races. If you don't back plan of attack, you could be looking at it and going, oh, Christ's sake, everything was telling me to. I'm gonna take a chance on one that's a wild price, really. I can't believe Check It Out is around, I think 40 to 1. Have you got there? Something like that.
Yeah, exactly that, 40 to 1.
I can't believe. I don't understand why this horse is such a big price. Very lightly raced, only a 7-year-old. Just the 7 starts over fences. Winner of 2 of those, both of those over 3 miles. Really strong at the finish on his penultimate start when beating King of Realms by 7 lengths at Ludlow. That was a career best RPR of 139. Prior to that, one got off the mark at Southall, beating Fostanovich. Was really impressive there. The Haydock run last time just come too quickly. Just come too quick after that Ludlow run, I think. And you can put a line straight through that. This is one of the least exposed horses in the field on a handicap mark of 135, in which, on the balance of his form, suggests that should be well within reach. The positive tactics have seen him in good stead the last couple of times. I can't understand why he's a 40 to 1 shot. We've got a lot of horses in here who are exposed to the 9s. There's not many that are well handicapped. I mean, you look through this field, and that's why it's so difficult to solve, because you're struggling to find a horse that's really well handicapped, in my opinion. I don't think the likes of Inrillo is going to stay the trip. I think this will stay the trip, no problem at all. I just don't 40 to 1. My goodness.
There's a lot of older horses in here, isn't there, that have been running well enough, so they're now not well handicapped, and they're not
exactly,
not either.
And this was won last year by Talker's cheaper progressive young 7-year-old, you know. So I just can't understand it. 40 to 1.
Is that the bet?
Yeah, that's the bet. Yeah, definitely.
Very good. Check it out for Daryl then. 40s, Andrew.
Yeah, incredibly tricky. As Daryl's rightly said about the favourite, you look at it afterwards. If he wins by 20 lengths, you're thinking, why didn't I back that? But he has never won a chase in a big field. He's coming here on the back of a fall, and he's round about 4 to 1. So that's short enough for me. There's an interesting angle with this race in terms of the prep race. Now, this is obviously a Grade 1 contest, and most of the runners who line up in this race have run in a Grade 1 or a Class 1 or a Class 2 contest last time out. Now, those who are up in class, who ran in sort of lower grade, Class 3 or Class 4 level, are 4 from 24 in this race since it was sponsored by Bet365, plus £61 to a £1 level stake. Now, in recent years, that angle's been really lucrative. In 2015, there was one qualifier, that one at 14 to 1. 2016, no qualifiers. 2017, you had 5 bets, but you had the 40 to 1 winner and the 6 to 1 second among those. 2018, again, two qualifiers, you found the 7 to 1 winner. And then 2019, only one qualifier, a 16 to 1 fifth. So I was looking at those as sort of like, coming up through the ranks and perhaps gone under the radar because they were winning or running in a lower level last time. And there's only 4 qualifiers. Enrillo for Paul Nichols. This one's coming off a 2-month break. He's got a good record when fresh. 4 wins from 7 when off the track for 6 weeks or longer. He does lack big field experience, though, when he's fairly short in the betting. Irish Prophecy for Emma Lavelle, who prepped over hurdles last time in a lower grade. The trip was too short. That was about 2 miles 5 and a bit at Ascot. Did really well to finish 3rd, I think, that day. Loves good or faster ground. Will appreciate going back to a longer trip and was a Taunton winner the time before. Supreme Escape, who won at Chepstow last time out over 3 miles 6.5. I think it was the the Welsh national trip. Now, that was on good ground. It seemed previously he'd seen best on soft or heavy going. Maybe it was just he needed a test of stamina over those shorter trips, and it was only that sort of ground that provided it. So he's on the up. I mean, the worry is that his two previous wins were followed by a pulled up, including when the 6-4 favourite at Wincanton, the only time he's gone right-handed. So whether he can go this way round or not is open to debate, but he has been nibbled at in the betting. And another one, I quite like this one, Bob Marler for Warren Greatrix, the kind of trainer, a bit like Tom George, whose runners tend to appreciate better ground. And he has sort of winners at this meeting over the years. Last time out, they were disappointing at Foss Last, but that was officially good to soft, which probably means heavy for any other track, knowing what we know about Foss Last going. And 3 of his 4 wins have come in March or April, so he's obviously gone well in the spring previously. And it's interesting to see Adrian Heskin on board for the first time since this one's last win at Musselburgh just over a year ago. So, Irish Prophecy and Bob Marler are the 2 I like from that short list of around about 4. I think they're sort of 16s and 33 to 1 best.
Yep, definitely. Loads of value then in that. You'd expect so, though, because it's absolutely rock solid, that race, I thought. Anything else for either of you at Sandown there? The scheduled race is done.
Just Indefatigable for me in the 4:15. Paul Webber's mare. A horse who ran well in the very competitive 3-mile Grade 1 race at Aintree last time out. And I thought this is easier. And she could go well at. I'm not seeing any prices, but she should be a a fair price. I would have thought here.
Okay, Daryl.
No, nothing for me at Sandown. Thank you very much.
That's Sandown scheduled races that we are covering. We go to Haydock for the 250. My nap of the weekend goes in here, and it's the talented but errant, I'm going to call him, Fox Champion. He's a really horse that I like. I think he's got loads of abilities, a very big horse, can be a bit too free in his races. I thought interesting that he's moved to Rafe Beckett. The King Power operation moved another horse as well to this yard, Fox Duty Free, and they seem to do really well with him. So I'm hoping that the same has happened. They gelded him as well. Hopefully that will help. And, I think on some of his best form, he's a group horse in handicap company. So really hope he can be rejuvenated. And I think he might run a big race. So Fox Champion's going to be my nap of the weekend in that 250. Andrew, do you want to start us for Haydock?
Yeah, very tricky race this. I wasn't particularly keen on the one they've made favourite for this, which is Dreamloper. Talented individual, lightly rated and open to further improvement. But he was his last win did come over a straight mile at Ascot, and now he's going 7 furlongs round a bend. He's only been on a turning track once before and was beaten when favourite at Kempton. And again, his other win came at Redcar. That was a straight 7, but he was odds on. It was a very weak race, so I was slightly worried about the shorter trip. I mean, generally speaking, when a horse runs over what looks like less than their optimum trip on their seasonal debut, it's probably because they're expected to need the run and improve for it. So maybe that's going to happen here with Dreamloper. I can see him perhaps finishing 2nd, 3rd or 4th, maybe winning next time out when stepped up to a mile. Marshall Dan's a horse I like. I think I napped him last time out. He ran at Musselburgh, just got chinned, finishing 2nd. But again, he sometimes struggles to back up a good run, so I'm not sure whether he'll be able to improve on that. The one I've gone for is Pace Angle Gobi Sunset from Mark Johnson. Now, this one has won twice on turf, seemed better on turf than the all-weather, but has shown good all-weather form since gelded. I thought if he could translate that back to turf, then he could go well. Now, he's really impressed me the last twice at Wolverhampton. He ran the other day when he raced in the swamp on the inside rail. I've laid him win and place as soon as I've seen where he is on the track, and he's given me a proper brown trouser moment because he's finished a close 2nd. And then
I've never heard that before.
And the time
yeah, and I hope I never do again.
I'll save it for the Christmas special. Yeah. And then the time before, he's bumped into Dirty Rascal because he's come out and won again since at Leicester, and then run well over an inadequate 5 furlong trip at Newbury the other day. So yeah, Gobi Sunset, if he gets loose on the lead here, could go well for the Mark Johnson team. But I like the angle you're coming out with Fox Champion. I might have to have a saver on that one. You've convinced me.
Yeah, I think he's halved in price as well, Fox Champion. I think he was forecast, and when it first opened, about 16s, and he's 9s now. So the money's came from somewhere. So Fox Champion about 9s, and as Andrew said, Gobi Sunset is about 10 to 1. Daryl?
Same as Andrew, Gobi Sunset for me. Not a coincidence. I've got a thing this season where I am very much focused on flat horses that are making the running, because I've just, especially at this time of year, I think they're so difficult to pass when horses are not fully wound up, and especially when you get Mark Johnson horse that's going to try and get loose on the front end. Turned out here 4 days later. That's a very quick turnaround for a Mark Johnson horse. They must feel he's in flying form at home. I just thought that this horse was definitely going to make the run-in, where I didn't see a lot of other pace angles in this race. I saw a lot of horses that are going to be needing the run, and I just felt that a mark of 85 was well within reach on recent form. His RPR has been climbing. His handicap mark has been climbing, but not as quickly as his RPRs are, and I like that. It means a horse could just be ahead. For me, it means a horse could just be getting in ahead of the handicapper. And I think that's what they may be thinking, turning them out 4 days later after a very good run at Wolverhampton last time. So, I thought Gobi Sunset was the one that made the most sense to me in this particular race, albeit it wouldn't be a very strong opinion in there.
Okay. Well, I hope you're both right, and Gobi Sunset does make the running and sets it up for Fox Champion for me. So, we'll see. Anything else at Haydock, Daryl?
Just double checking. Finest Sound in the 4:35 returns to the scene of his sole victory. Very, very impressive when it Haydock last time. Of course, I'm taking the form line with Nugget from last week, who finished behind him. Would have obviously finished in front of him, but I think there's more to come from this Finest Sound. Big, powerful horse. I think early in the spring's the time to catch him as well, before he gets bored of running. So I thought he would have a good chance in the 4:35, but that was about it for Haydock.
Okay. Yeah, Finest Sound in that 4:35 then for Simon and Ed Crisford and William Buick on board. Andrew?
Only won the 3:25 Dawn Diva for Brian Meehan. This is a 1 mile fillies novice race. She ran a really good race in a similar contest over 7 furlongs on heavy ground at Newbury last back end. Newbury Rolling Mile, we know you've got to be on the front end 9 times out of 10. The winner and second are 1-2 throughout. She was a 20 to 1 shot. She's beaten a length into third, coming from off the pace. She's pulled 6.5 lengths clear of the fourth. Very different ground to contend with this time, but we know Brian Meehan horses, as a general rule, take a big step forward from their first to second start. The yard started the season well, so I thought Dawn Diva could go well in that 3:25.
Yeah, you'd assume she'd massively come on for that run, wouldn't she? That's in the 3:25 then at Haydock, Dawn Diva. And we move on to Leicester. We've got one from there. Another horse who I quite like in here, the 2:10 at Leicester listed contest, and it's pretty straightforward, I think. Lord Campari, another probably not the most straightforward, another horse who can over race and be a bit keen, but really impressive at Newbury when this horse won. I think they're doing the right thing, dropping him back to 7 furlongs for the first run of the season, and hopefully make use of, he's a big horse with a big stride, and hopefully he can show us what he's made of. I also, through the grapevine, know the work rider of this horse. And apparently he's been working super. He's really settled down at home, which is the main thing. They've learnt him to settle at home around others. So I think they're all positives, and might just be able to boss this small field. So had a look as well. And obviously Roger Varian and Andrea Vazzini have got a good record in that 2:10 as well. So Lord Campari is the one I like. Daryl?
A lot of ifs and buts there with that one, isn't there?
Yeah, I like Lord Campari. Obviously, I'm not saying, he might not go and win and he might drop a disappointment.
It's her favourite drink. She loves the Campari and soda. That's the only reason she's gone for it.
That's the only reason, yeah.
Yeah, I just thought there was a lot of ifs and buts with him, to be honest with you, and I think he's going to need a career best to win this. And I thought he was short enough in the market. The Newbury run was great, beating Sceau, but the rest of the form has not worked out as well as you would have hoped. I know King Fairy is unraced since, I believe, but could be anything. But they were close enough together, the bunch in behind, and I just thought that was a bit of a freak performance, and he's not really backed that up since, and there doesn't seem to be any excuses as to why not. So might have been a flash in the pan. I'm not willing to take 2-1 on him when he's going to need to record an RPR of around 110 to win this race. I think so. Yeah, this is tricky though. There's nothing in here for me to have a real solid bet in. There's ifs and buts with a lot of these. Pogo sets the standard, I feel, on his recent performances last year. He rounded off the season with a second to Happy Power. That was a career best performance, rated 112. Gets £3 from Mum's Tipple. I thought he had a fair chance. He ran close to blown by wind last year at Newmarket. That was a really good run on seasonal return. This 7 furlongs might be a bit sharp for him on quick ground. That would be the slight worry. But I do think he sets the standard. I think Mum's Tipple still got a bit more to come. There was nothing wrong with what he did at Lingfield on all-weather championship day behind Kuzam, because I think this Kuzam is a pretty smart horse. It'll be interesting to see whether Kuzam can do it on turf tomorrow behind Palace Pier. That'll give you a good line through this.
Yeah.
Because, wasn't disgraced over a mile. Drop back to 7 furlongs, I think, is a good move by Richard Hannon. Sean Levy's a fantastic jockey. He's just absolutely flying at the moment. There's a little bit of air of an unknown about Mum's Tipple, and I feel like we're going to get...
I like Mum's Tipple. I've tricked him a few times, but I just think he's even more not straightforward than Lord Campari. Like, I thought when this horse, I tipped him up when he won at Wolverhampton, but everything just fell right. They went just quick enough that he was kind of keen, but not too keen. He's one of them. He could go and win by a margin if everything is perfect. But... Yeah,
I totally agree with you. And I think this race will tell us where we're at with Mum's Tipple. I don't think we'll have these. When you're looking at this horse and you're thinking, it's a little bit of an air of unknown. He could do that. He could. I think after this race, we're going to know exactly where we are with this horse. Yeah. So, I wasn't. That was what I mean. This was the race I'm waiting to see happen, and then I can move on from there. Do you get what I'm saying? There's no betting here for me. I think Pogo will set the standard. I like Shine So Bright. I think he's best when fresh. All of his wins have come when fresh. He wants fast ground. It was a good run 9 days ago at Newmarket. Shaping like 6 furlongs is going to be left well behind him now, and 7 furlongs is definitely his trip moving forward. And Beat Le Bon was very interesting as well. But I do feel that Sean Levy probably had the choice between the 2 Hannon horses and has gone with Mum's Tipple. I think Mum's Tipple could cause an upset. I think Pogo sets the standard. I don't know where my dart's going to... Let's go Mum's Tipple. One more chance for Mum's Tipple.
You liking a pogo is making me laugh. The imagination of you on a pogo sticker.
You don't want to see that.
Well, you've gone with Mum's Tipple anyway, so we don't need to now. If pogo wins, maybe we should make you give it a go. Andrew?
Yeah, I'm napping Space Hopper here. No, I'm not. No, we can have a race, couldn't we? Right, I'm going for the outside of the field. Beat Le Bon. I'm going nap here. Now, Leicester on the straight course. Normally, I'd want to be on a prominent racer, drawn low. I mean, even in this small field, stall 5 could be trouble here for Lord Campari. Ends up on that stand-side rail where it's generally slow. I mean, we've seen some very good horses beaten after racing hard up against the rail over this track over the years. Catchy, for example, got caught after leading up the fence. So with another front-runner Pogo on his outside and Shine So Bright who can race prominently, I thought they'd go hard enough here to set it up for a closer. And, Beat Le Bon ran an astonishing race at Newmarket last week on the Tuesday. This was when the stalls were on the stand side. There was a massive bias favouring prominent racers and high-drawn runners. 7 furlong handicap that day, Class 2, a good race. First 4 were drawn 8, 9, 11 and 12. Now, Beat Le Bon was drawn at 4, I think it was. And again, she's come from off the pace and she's raced, a little bit keenly in the rear of the field. The first 4 were described as track leader, prominent, led and track leaders. She's done best of the low draws. She's done best of the hold-up horses. And she had a few entries this week. She had a couple of entries at Haydock. I was kind of hoping she'd go to Haydock because I thought, maybe he's best round a turn. He's 2 from 2 in Goodwood handicaps, for example, on the round course. But I thought, given the pace and the prices, generally a 10 to 1 shot, I thought I've got to back him here. Holly Doyle's riding. I know I take Daryl's point that Sean Levy might have had the choice, and he's on Mum's Tipple, and that's the one I think is the danger. I mean, he's only had 1 go over 7 furlongs, Mum's Tipple, and he won that listed race at Wolverhampton when getting a good toe into it from Lord of the Lodge, who's won since. So Beat Le Bon for me. Little saver reverse forecast with the other Hannon runner, Mum's Tipple.
And I suppose if they go quick enough, which we think they're going to, it will be perfect for Mum's Tipple, because then he won't be too keen either. So, yeah, it's a tricky enough one, that 210 then, obviously small field as well. Anything else at Leicester for either of you, please?
Not for me, thank you very much.
No, nothing for me.
Anything anywhere else at all?
Just one horse at Ripon in the 205. Boson, David O'Mara, 2-year-old, had a poor wide draw on a debut at Beverley the other day. Yet the money came for him, and he's run pretty well in the circumstances, finishing 6th. But I thought with that run behind him, with a high draw near the stand side rail, which was certainly an advantage at the opening meeting last week, I thought Boson could get off the mark.
Yeah, I think about 4-1 at the moment I've got here. Daryl, do you like anything from anywhere else?
Couple at Ripon, 5.35 Dubawi Sands. I haven't seen any prices. I think this horse might be mighty short in the market, but he's definitely one to. Oh God, yeah. Well, stick him in your tracker anyway, and keep an eye on him. I think he's a nice progressive horse going forward. I think he could make up into a useful horse. In the 5 o'clock at Ripon, this is a good race. This is going to be another one worth following. I'm going to side with. I haven't seen any prices yet. Price will dictate, but I'm probably going to side with Overright, trying to make all the running at Ripon against the rail from a low draw. Yeah. I do like La Trinidad going forward, so keep an eye on. Difference. Yeah, is there?
Overright is 7-4. La Trinidad is 8-1 in a 6-runner field.
Do you think Overright was flattered by that Newmarket win when grabbing the rail on the Rolly last Tuesday?
He may well have been, but I loved the attitude when he was headed and then he battled back. And that moment in that race for me, I just feel there's more to come from him. Maybe he's not been given everything. This smaller field, I thought he might be able to dictate here at Ripon under Franny Norton. I just think he's interested. It's still off in the marks. I'm at 89. He's still in the 80s. But La Trinidad at 8-1 is probably put a little bit of a different spin on it. You'll have to check the GG column for that one because I'll do a bit more work on that now.
There we go. That's fine. Yeah, absolutely. Do check the GG column. My nap then. Naps for the weekend. Mine is in that 250 at Haydock Fox Champion. Andrew?
Yeah, beat Le Bon for me, the 210 at Leicester. That's 7 furlong listed race.
Daryl?
Check it out, 340 Sandown. Each
40
way.
to 1 now.
It should be a 40 to 1 shot. My God.
Well, and you say you don't know why a horse is surprised and then it trails in last and you think, oh, that's fine.
On seats at the first.
Yeah.
You're allowed to put 40 to 1 shots up and be wrong, though.
Yeah, well, exactly, yeah. Check it out then, the nap for Daryl. That's it for our scheduled races. That's our naps as well. And as the guys said, obviously some of those bigger fields and ones that we're not exactly decided on or quite sure on, they obviously do post daily columns, so there'll be more information about those selected races in the coming days. Thanks as always for watching. Obviously more videos and those daily columns and all the race cards as well are on GG.CO.UK, so do check that out, and thanks as always for watching.